Salutations, my fault lovers. It is Matty here with week 17 of the H.A.M Radio Podcast.
And it is me, the LoneVaultWanderer.
My name's Noah. My Arc now runs on diesel and battery, so it's basically a Prius.
And we have an esteemed guest this week.
Yeah.
Hi, it's me, AlChestBreach again. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Who are you? Sorry.
Yeah.
Hi there, it's me, AlChestBreach. I'm back. It's AlChestBreach's mom this time. I'm so sorry.
It's your boy.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you for having me again, guys. Much appreciated.
Of course.
You're welcome.
All right. So each week we like to get a guest in here. Sometimes it's one of you guys. So be sure to tweet at any of us with our handles on screen with the answer to the following question using the hashtag H.A.M Radio Time. Where were you when Fallout 4 was officially revealed? Please answer that question on Twitter. Yeah, I was actually... Well, I'm not talking about the tease. I'm talking about the trailers live. Where were you?
The actual trailer.
Yeah, I was shitting myself on Twitch. That's what I was doing.
I was making videos on my laptop in a hotel room. It was fucking annoying.
I was watching those videos. I was impressed. I was like, damn, Lone's on the grind right now. All right, so let's just get into this, man. This is it. We've been waiting for this week. All right, so for those of you who are new, by the way, we usually have 5 segments in this podcast: the intro, news roundup, a Bethesda spotlight where we focus on a special moment in a Bethesda game that we want to talk about each week, what we're playing in our favorite gaming news bit, as well as some of your questions. But this week specifically, we want to change things up a bit and just really discuss entirely everything that you guys have analyzed and everything we're thinking and just purely reacting to this Fallout 4 reveal trailer. We're still going to have segment 4 in this podcast, but things, like I said, if you've been a long-term listener, will be a bit different, so I hope you guys are cool with that. But without further ado...
Better be. You don't have a lot of choice in
yeah,
it, man.
you better be. I was going to say.
It's going to be a riot now. So let's dive into this. All right.
Yes.
I don't even know where to start. There's been so much to talk about.
Let's dive into this. I don't know where.
All right, let's start off with the obvious. The initial reaction when you saw this trailer.
Yeah. No, you get to go first.
No joke. I'm not kidding. I was doing my morning shit. I swear on my life this is what happened. I was on Twitter and sitting doing my stuff, and I saw the link and I was like, oh my god. And I obviously the day before we all knew what it was gonna be, but I saw that it was a 3-minute trailer. I was like, holy shit, because I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like a screenshot or something, like it's here, and like a screenshot or something like that. But no, I mean, it was a 3-minute trailer in engine, I mean, I was thoroughly impressed and excited.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts. So just waiting. We initially saw before the actual trailer was released, there were 2 screenshots that were leaked, and one of them was... Yeah, one of them was Dogmeat, but the dog walking across the bridge, and then there was another one. So we kind of got a really quick glimpse of what it was, but then exactly like Noah, I had no idea that it was going to be as in-depth as it was. I literally thought it was going to be like a 30-second teaser. Oh, here's a little glimpse, here's the Fallout 4 logo, we'll show the rest at E3. But they just went for it, man. They showed not only like this slow panning, but then they showed, areas in the wasteland and locations and settings. It was wonderful. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. You can go first, Al.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I was expecting it to be all basically just cinematic and all just just CG and no real gameplay. And then I didn't kind of realize it until they started when it's the radio is like, oh, we've gotten from our affiliates like nuclear launches, and then it goes into the montage, and I'm like, holy crap, this is actual gameplay. And I was like, oh, damn, that's when I was like blown away.
Yeah,
it also follows, real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It follows a very similar format to the Fallout 3 reveal where it pans out on an object. But yeah, I noticed that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Now, well, here, before I give my reaction, I gotta get this out here quick. Was I the only one who thought they were gonna play I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire Again? That same start.
No.
Like it. I thought they sounded just alike when they first started playing. I was like, oh my god, they just fucking did it. It's a Fallout 3 remaster, no!
I don't know if it's the same band, but I was wondering, I was like, how many... It is? I was like... If you do listen to that band, though, like, a lot of their songs sound exactly the same, and I was like, how many songs sound like this that this band has?
Well, because it all started off with the dun dun dun.
Yeah,
dun,
yeah,
dun.
yeah.
I was like, what are they doing right now? I was like, I love this song, but this.
I was going to say that's exactly why they picked that song, because it has such a similar startup.
Yeah,
yeah.
So people are like, oh, it's pretty much the same. It's still the ink spots, but here's a twist on it. That was awesome. I absolutely love that.
All right,
what if they had done like hair metal 80s music, how angry
That would have
people
equally
be?
been fantastic.
Who
Pulls out forever.
God.
Yeah.
I was kind of sum up what you guys said, because that's how I was thinking. Is like, number one, I was totally impressed that it wasn't CGI. I thought we were getting a 30-second cinematic trailer, much like Fallout 3, where it was gonna pan out. You know, we'd be getting that oh my god thing. I was shocked at the length. If you watch my Twitch reaction, I can't put it on my channel because of the music, but me and Lone have been working on a fix for that. But if you watch that reaction, the first thing I say before even watching the video, I lose my shit because I'm like, oh my god, it's 3 minutes long. I was like, okay. Then while I'm watching this trailer, you know, you're seeing the dog and he's walking really slow. I'm thinking to myself, all right, he's probably just going to be trekking around this house. We're not going to see much. Then he runs outside. Then Bethesda's like, fuck it. Let's just show him so much stuff. And they show us like monument after monument, Diamond City, like all this shit. I'm like sitting here losing my mind. I was blown away. And what's impressive is that they didn't show us playing the game. They just showed us the world, and that excited me enough.
Yeah. See that vault? You can exit it.
See that dog? Cut it.
Someone sent me a picture. It was like, see that dog, and like it was like the protagonist looking at him, and then like, you know, the part where he like pets him.
Oh
like,
yeah.
He's like, you can pet it, and someone like had him with his hand on his face.
That's brilliant.
So let's discuss as a whole. We there's been a lot of analysis. That's not even a word, I don't think. There's been a lot
Analyses.
Yeah, there's been a lot of observations. There's been a lot of things crammed in this trailer that have brought about a lot of speculation and confirmed a lot of things. So we're going to discuss all of that, I feel, or we're going to at least try to. Let's start off with the obvious, the setting. How do you guys feel about it actually being set in Boston? Does that sound like a good thing to you? Bad thing? Because it's following the rumors. I know some people were a little underwhelmed. I was personally very happy because it seems to really fit what was so special about the Capital Wasteland. You know, has a lot of
the East Coast.
Yeah, that and a lot of American history landmarks and stuff. You know, it was. I think it's a really smart location, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like coming in from, you know, in an international country, I think many people, say in Australia, in Europe, won't necessarily care too much about where it's set in America exactly, so long as it's set there in a city that has landmarks, monuments, in a city that has lakes, rivers, some sort of water source. I think that's the most important bit. And no matter where it's set, you know, Bethesda can make the city or the wasteland look exciting or be interesting in general.
True.
So
Yeah.
I'm disinferent. Well, I don't know what term I'm trying to use, but I don't really care that it's Boston. You know, like it's whatever city it is, I'm happy with it.
I'm personally happy it's Boston because Al as well. We were just a few months ago in Boston for PAX East.
Yes.
And I personally walked around there quite a bit in hopes that Fallout 4 would be there. And I didn't see, to my surprise, I found like a lot of really cool buildings and stuff. I made a video about it a while ago. And, you know, like I was just walking around Boston. I found a lot of cool buildings I actually didn't see in the trailer at all. And obviously they show us a very small portion of what the game's actually going to be. But I'm really stoked to see what they fit in there. I don't know if you guys saw the video I retweeted. I know that Lone did. But the pre-war hub with Revan, Corey.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit.
I'm so happy they brought me in to just do a couple of lines because, like, oh my god. They did a video that basically narrowed down how big this map is going to be. It's apparently going to be twice the size of Skyrim's map.
Holy shit.
Think about
Their
that.
video blew up fucking every day. What did I got? Like 1,000 subs in a day because of that video. Like they fucking blew up because of that. It was absolutely impressive. And you actually sit down and watch that video thinking, they're making a lot of fucking sense. Like it's actually really in depth and thought out.
It was actually really impressive. I couldn't believe it. It was like they were going all out. Now, one of the people part of that team was my friend John, and like, you know, it's really nice because I've talked to him for about a year now, and it's really nice to see him like be a part of something special because he's like a lore master when it comes to Fallout. So it's really cool. But regardless, you know, seeing where everything is, like, Bethesda's going to have a lot of cool stuff in this map. And without a doubt, I don't know if you guys noticed while we're talking about the map, do you guys ever notice the little tower in the background of, like, almost all the shots? Like, for example, when they showed Diamond City and they started, like, panning up in the back left corner, there was that tower.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's the Institute.
That's what I'm the most excited about. That's what that's why when they were like, oh, it's Boston, I was like, yes, because I'm super excited about the Institute and all the Android stuff.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't wait for that to be touched on.
That is going to be awesome.
Just a random thing, and going back to you, I don't know if we're talking about this later, Matty, the picture you showed where somebody was standing there and they're not standing there anymore.
Yeah, we can talk about that now if you guys want to.
Quantum
Well, some people are saying it's quantum leap. I want to chuck in my 2 cents. The Institute, did they have Android technology before the Great War? And secondly, could that have been an Android because they would have been able to survive throughout the bombs, in a vault, because androids, they're immortal. They can live for however long, so long as the technology lasts them. So that's my theory.
Are you speaking from like radiation standpoint, or that they can't get disintegrated? I'm sorry, I might be misunderstanding the obvious.
Die, essentially, like if they're just like a robot, for example, an android, they can stay in a vault. They can live for hundreds of years. So maybe we're an android. Who knows? That's my crazy out there theory.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crazy theories floating around because the protagonist is there clearly during the Great War, and he's there at the post-apocalyptic part of the game. So everyone's trying to connect. Is he an android? Is Vault 11 a cryogenic chamber? How is he alive during both these segments? And we see him get hit by the Great War bomb. So Lone may be onto something because he wasn't near the actual explosion. He was far out from it. And based off the video that the pre-war hub made, they were about a couple miles off of this bomb. So yes, he clearly got hit by the bomb. But he could have survived, considering he might have been an android. And taking into account what Lone said, if there was, android, stuff, the Institute, before the Great War, it's very well possible. I mean, there's so much crazy stuff that you could really come up with in this trailer. I just can't wait to hear it from Todd Howard. And he finally just, flips on the light switch, and, everyone's like, oh, it makes sense.
Howdy.
I don't know. I think, I don't know, if going about with the protagonist in the explosion and all that, I mean, it could just be, I know we discussed it last time I was on the podcast, it could be you relive, the detonation in a simulation or something like that. It could be something like that. I mean, I don't know if that's a letdown to some people, but I don't know. It'd be an interesting way, or at least kind of more of a reasonable explanation instead of time travel.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out that every single little feature in this trailer was absolutely intentionally put in there. Of course it was, right? So the fact that that person was standing there and they're not standing there anymore, maybe the fact that they were removed was an accident, a slip-up, but I highly doubt it. Bethesda would have slaved over this trailer for fucking days and weeks upon end. So I think it was completely intentional, and maybe it relates to the plot point or the narrative. Who knows?
But it's such a little thing. It's so hidden, It's like, is it just an Easter egg? Or Easter egg isn't the right word, but it's got, it's just so weird. He's there in one frame, and literally the next he's gone. Now, some people are saying that, I don't know if you guys have seen or know specifically when I say this, Skull A Square. When this, it's the part where the guy with the trench coat's walking through this area, and to the left, to our left, you'll see, this place called the Memory Den. And it's a very peculiar name. Now, people think it's a strip club. I thought so as well, based off not only neon signs outside. It kind of had that vibe to it, but it says girls, girls, girls on a sign. Regardless, people are saying that this, quote, Memory Den is a place you go inside as an android and you live different, you, relive the memories of other people and stuff.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Right? It sounds, plausible in a way.
It kind of reminds me, I don't know if any of you have ever seen Strange Days. Have any of you seen that or no?
I have not.
I have not.
It's it's in this world where people trade memories, and so a lot of it is black market stuff, they sell war combat stuff and then sex and stuff, but it could be that where it's just trading memories like you said, Matty.
That's actually shit. I mean, I could see Bethesda taking an inspiration for something like that,
because that open a lot of opportunity, because I mean they made all those assets for pre-war. They're not gonna use it in just one segment of the game. I'd imagine there'd be they'd want to reuse it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching your video. You make a great point that just from a mod perspective, to see these pre-war mods are going to be
that's
awesome.
what I'm excited about.
Like they could go like create completely separate games because these are like fully built objects. It's not like everything's destroyed.
Holy shit! They could.
If there is no time travel, I would love to see a time travel Terminator mod, because that would be to go back in time and kill John Connor or something. That would be amazing.
10 out of 10.
Yes.
It's fucking Fallout 4. We're talking about time travel. This is so surreal. It's amazing.
So,
excellent.
All right, let's get on track with something a little more plausible. Does anyone have any points of discussion they'd like to bring up?
No?
I do, because it's very controversial. The graphics. Go away.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yes, please.
Here's what you gotta do if you still for some reason think Fallout 4's graphics suck. Because first of all, they don't suck. But if you really need to be convinced that badly, go online and download the uncompressed trailer for Fallout 4. Yep. The difference is actually, I was totally fine with the game. I thought it looked great. I watched the uncompressed trailer. I was like, this game looks so much fucking better than everyone thinks. Oh my god. And that's a little bit of bias speaking, but like it looks surprisingly way better in the uncompressed version. It's on YouTube if you want to look it up, actually. You don't even have to download it. I have it downloaded for video usage, but it makes such a difference. Like, for example, when I ended up zooming in on stuff in the actual original trailer Bethesda uploaded for, like, my analysis and stuff, things would blur out and stuff. With this uncompressed trailer, like, I'm pinching and zooming on things, like, in the back corners of screenshots and blowing them up, and, like, you can clearly see what it actually is. It's actually a major difference maker, in my opinion.
I actually use that trailer to get screenshots for thumbnails. I mean, that's how good it is. Like, I refuse to use any other video. And I think people, I recently made a video about this. People need to understand, first of all, no matter what video is uploaded to YouTube, no matter how high quality it is, it's going to get compressed. Absolutely. It's inevitable, right? So everything
it does on YouTube.
Exactly right. So everything's going to be a bit blurred. It could be a bit choppy. I think that's one big reason why people are so upset with it. Second of all, stop making comparisons to The Witcher 3. I understand.
Oh my god, yes.
But it's a realistic. Like, they went for that pure realistic look. I think of it as this scale where you have on the one end of the extremity realistic looking games. On the other end, you have stylized, cartoonized games. Borderlands, Bioshock, games like that would be towards that end. I picture Fallout 4 somewhat in the middle, but off to the cartoonized side. That's where I see Fallout 4 sitting.
Fair enough, yeah. Also, Fallout 4, if you notice in the trailer, it's much more colorful.
Yes,
absolutely.
There's a lot more, the blues, the yellows, much more vibrant. I mean, if you watch the Fallout 3 trailer, it's a lot of grays. You watch the New Vegas trailer, it's just brown. I mean, just stare at a brown wall, it's the same thing. But you look at this, and the colors pop, and that's nice. That is a really pleasant thing to see on the eye.
One thing that's worth pointing out, and it's that's why the graphics thing started to bother me a little bit after I made my video talking about it, is because I remembered that the original lead artist or concept, I forgot what it was, but the guy who directed the graphical style for Fallout 3 and Skyrim passed away. So someone new stepped in.
Holy shit.
Remember that? His name's Adam something. I forgot his name, but he passed away. So someone new is stepping in to fill his shoes, and it's like, give the guy a break. Like, his work is good. It's a different style, a different taste, and I like the vibrant look to it. Especially here, we're all PC players. We're used to mods and stuff like Nevada Skies, where like New Vegas is less brown with that. We're used to that, and we like that type of style. Now, I'm not trying to speak for the console players, but I feel like if they saw it from our eyes or watched just videos online, they kind of understand that was the direction that Fallout was heading. Bethesda takes, inspiration and ideas from forums, mods, etc. And you could tell, for example, something as little as weather. How many weather mods do we have? And now weather's in Fallout 4. They're listening. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, and I really like the use of color. I can understand why Fallout 3 and New Vegas went for the art style that they did, but when I play Fallout 3 now on New Vegas, first of all, the mods that I use, it strips away that stupid green tint that you get in Fallout 3.
Same.
And second of all, I will increase saturation to no end. I like color. It's not like after bombs fall, color is somehow desaturated in the world. It doesn't work like that. Like grass will become less green, but it's still the same level of saturation. Everything doesn't become grayscaled for no particular reason. So I like how they're using color.
No, that and if you have an issue with the colors, I mean, you look at like the Deathclaw scene. That's like brown as fuck. There's clearly these grim settings, and it really wasn't super colorful in the beginning. If you guys agree with me about that, where like the dog is walking around this house, like the house was kind of like
brownish.
Dimmed. Yeah, it was like brownish. I was like, I was all right with it, but like when he walks outside, then like you see the sunlight playing into effect. I think it's also a part of a new engine. So let's shift over to that a little bit. I don't know if any of you guys saw my video on the new engine, but if not, I'll just quickly explain what I noticed. Light will seep through the windows and through every little crack. You'll see, for example, like when the ghouls or whatever those creatures are, I have no idea. Like when they run at you, you'll see the boxes fly up. You'll see the shopping carts move. What else is there? There's new animation you notice, like between like how creatures walk and attack you to how like you see like when people are running away for the Great War, you see like multiple running styles. What else was there? There was, I always forget like the fourth one.
Is it the dog animations? I don't know.
Well, that too. Yeah, he was. That was very specific. Like bending his nose down, sniffing.
Yeah.
What was it? It was lighting, physics, and I'm not remembering right now for some damn reason.
So, are you saying it's a new trailer, or sorry, a new engine rather, or are you saying it's one that they've used in the past? Because the first thing that I thought of when I saw this trailer was Rage. That was literally the first thing I saw.
Some people are saying they're using id-Tech by
id-Tech
chance.
5, yeah. So, I don't know. It's interesting.
I think, some people are saying, based on my comments, that it looks like an upgraded version of Skyrim's creation engine. But I feel like it's much more than that. Here, I'm starting up my video now to just go through and see what it is. You guys won't hear it or need the recording.
If it isn't, I would love it if it's a new engine, just because I think it's the Embryo engine they use now. There's a lot of...
That's what it was.
Gamebryo, I believe it's...
Gamebryo, there you go. Yeah, it's...
I found out what it was.
In my opinion, and just...
The other thing I meant to point out, not to interrupt you guys, was the shadows. You'll see shadows casted from the trees, casted from when the dog's crossing the bridge. That's what it was. The extra little details like that we've come to expect in gaming, I think, over the course of time, because it's been so long since Skyrim for most of us. I think like these little attention to details don't come from a simple engine upgrade, especially with the new art style. You look at Skyrim, that was a very believable world. I'm not saying Fallout 4 doesn't look believable, but with the colors, the almost cartoony look on some of the character models and stuff, I could kind of see it being some type of new engine in some way or form.
And it also could just be an overhaul.
True.
It doesn't necessarily need to be a brand new engine. It could just be a modified engine, which is, depending on how big the overhaul is pretty almost the same.
Yeah. And maybe that's why they took an extra year to, at least reveal the game. Because with Fallout 3, for example, the game was revealed in 2007, and we had a year lead up until E3 2008. That's not been the case with this. So I think they've taken a bit of extra time with the engine, possibly.
So while we're talking about this game, lead up time and everything, let's talk about the release date for Fallout 4. Let's get predictions in first, and then I'll give my spiel.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was pretty soon. I mean, I know I was the person who was saying, "Oh, it's not going to come out for like a year after the trailer," but that trailer showed. I can't speak exactly, but a 3-minute trailer means that the game is not necessarily finished, but
it has a lot to show.
Polished, yeah.
And they're going to show more at E3, not to keep it but
yeah.
So I would think that it would be released within probably the next 6 to 8 months.
Okay. What about you, Lon?
I'm thinking if at E3 you get Todd Howard on the stage showing about 20 minutes of gameplay, none of this closed doors bullshit, but if he actually shows that publicly and they're confident enough to do that, I think we'll see the game at least, max by the end of the year. I don't think it'll go past into 2016. I could see it happening if I was to make a strong bet in October, because I could see them wanting to beat Call of Duty and all those games released in November.
What about you, Al?
Personally, at first I was like, because I'm always I try not to get super optimistic, because then I get let down. So I was like, it'll be a year or something. But I mean, It's very possible. I mean, this year or like very end of this year. So, I mean, I guess we'll find out at E3 because that would be amazing. I'd be super excited.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do here is kind of sum up a video I made and let you guys tell me what you think about it. Basically, I think Fallout 4's release date was leaked because I got linked to an article by GameRanks, and what happened was they went ahead and like found on GameStop Italy a release date for Fallout 4, and it wasn't like everyone was sending placeholder dates like 12/30/1/15 saying is this the release date, and I don't.
Yeah.
Very surprised how little people know about placeholder dates. They're just kind of there because the game might be launching this year. But anyways, what happened was on GameStop Italy, it said that the game was coming out on the Great War date, 10/23 of this year, which is fucking awesome. Now, starting off with that, that's too convenient. That's way too convenient just to be a minor slip-up, okay? The Great War date, are you fucking kidding me? Further supporting that, you have the picture that you sent me, Lone, from EB Games that said it's coming this year. You had Bethesda themselves, who on their official store originally said to be, the release date was to be announced 2015, which was changed just to be announced. Plenty of other retailers are saying that it's just coming in 2015. They don't know anything else. So I feel like that release date leak holds true. Now, some people are saying it's going to be the first week in November as well, but I'm thinking that the Great War date would be good. Also because it's on a Friday. Bethesda released Skyrim on a Friday as well, and games are slowly shifting to being released on Fridays. So if you ask me, I feel like the Great War date, October, was my initial prediction. I've been saying this year for so long now. But you guys can hold me to that because I actually have been, but
You have, yeah.
October 2015 was my initial prediction as well, and I'm sticking to it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, very interesting. I believe somebody sent me a picture, and I could be completely wrong with this, but when at the time they searched Fallout 4 or Bethesda or something in Google, there was something that popped up from the official Bethesda store that said something about a token expiring 31st October. I don't know what that meant.
Yep.
Do you know about that, Matty?
Yes, I heard about that. That's a good point. I forgot what it was exactly, but I know that they were saying, like, I think it was like there were all these deals on their website, and they all expired by October 31st, and people were saying that chances are it's because they want to get that rush of people coming in, and that the deal will end, by the end of October when the game's already out. I think it was like buy 2 shirts for $30 or something like that. It was something specific that really kind of led to you thinking like, they seem to be trying to push sales before this date.
Yeah.
I know, that's a good point. I totally forgot about that.
And holy shit, let's talk about sales. Fallout 3, 700%. Increase in sales.
Really?
I think by 700%, New Vegas by 300%. Just crazy numbers.
Wait, wasn't it 1,000 for Fallout 3?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was 1,000 for Fallout 3. Yeah,
maybe I'll start to review Fallout 3 mods again.
Like, you go on the Steam store, for example, it's just Fallout 3 plastered everywhere. We happen to have a sale. I don't know why we're having.
By the way.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but that was off track. But yeah,
no, that's a good point because it makes you wonder with the sales increasing that much. You wonder if Bethesda's going to actually go through with the whole HD remake or whatever of Fallout 3 in New Vegas. Like everyone kind of wants it, and you wonder. Like I feel like I don't want them to do it now because I feel like 4 to 5 months from now we're going to have Fallout 4, where I feel like that'd be too much Fallout in a crammed amount of time. But
like if they would do it properly, they would have the remake come out in 4 to 5 months, and then Fallout 4 come out in a year. That's
exactly
the popular way to do it, and I don't think anyone would be happy with that.
Exactly, yeah. But like I was just saying, when I saw those sales numbers, I was like, "Wow, that's impressive." But like now that you think about it, if the game's already selling without them having to put extra money into an HD remake, then they're probably like, "Well, we'll just let it keep selling." Now that I really think about it,
yeah,
interesting stuff. All right, so let's move on to another observation that was made on the floor at the beginning of the trailer. The family dog, that's what I like to call it. It's either called Pal or the family dog, according to a lot of people on the internet.
It's called Dogmeat, Matty. We're calling the dog Dogmeat.
I made that mistake on Twitter and got yelled at for it by plenty of you. Thank you.
On the floor, when the dog enters the room and he's like sniffing the crib, which was the fucking saddest thing I've seen. Oh my god, my heart.
I didn't feel a thing when I'm not even gonna lie to you, but yeah.
If you go
either, I don't know if I'm a monster too.
No, but if you go back and just stop at that part where he's like sniffing the Repcon rocket on top, like you just feel it, man. Like, and I'm not one who's like
facial expression. He's like, oh, it's so sad.
He's like, I miss my master. Anyways. On the floor.
Probably like years after though. Like,
never forget.
Android dog?
Holy shit! I just popped it to mind. Why would that dog be having memories of the time before the Great War if that was like 200 years before? What the fuck?
Nah, I feel like. Oh man,
I think it's just
we gotta hold on. Yeah, before I even get into what I was gonna say, we gotta discuss this. That's the other part, is that how this dog is A, still alive, and B, remembers what the fuck happened. It's a dog.
I mean, I think it's more of just an editing way just to show the pre-war and
I don't
stuff.
think this is probably like 50 years after, dude. Or maybe even more. I don't think this is like 2 years after.
Just real quick, I mean, do you guys think it's going to take place after the events of Fallout 3 in New Vegas, or?
I don't think it'll be a while after Fallout 3, but I think it'll be like 10 years.
Okay, all right,
fair enough.
Yeah,
that's...
I think you have to have some callback to Fallout 3. The fact that there is now water in the wasteland is a big deal. That changes a lot of things, and I think that kind of contributes to the fact that it seems in Fallout 4, especially with the better use of color, that the wasteland is being rebuilt. It's actually starting to look like there are bigger towns developing. Exactly right. So if they're starting to use electricity more, if the colors are increasing, if there is flowing water throughout the wasteland, even in Boston, then I think that's possible.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. It does. That's the first thing I noticed, is like a lot of the monuments I kept mentioning in my analysis were like preserved completely. Like like the Bunker Hill Monument, the one where it was like the tower. There was hardly a scratch on it. There's a few chips missing, but like otherwise, like the monument itself was perfectly fine, and the tower behind it, just totally fine. And I was just like, how did they do that?
Yeah, that was because. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Because I know New Vegas, they had the the defense system from House, and then I mean, I know in DC the White House is nuked, but I don't know.
And that bomb seemed to go off pretty close to everyone.
Yeah, a little bit close.
Yeah, like how the hell are the buildings still standing up?
I was like, that probably wouldn't be there.
I mean, I guess they would have to be, because then otherwise it would just be nothing. I mean, I guess there's an amount where they have to be like...
The imagination.
Yeah.
It was like stuff like the Paul Revere one as well, like the Old North Church, the Massachusetts State House, like all these things are completely erect and just unscathed, and I'm like, how? Like there's to a degree where it gets to the point where it's like, okay, Bethesda, I need to know how these buildings are still properly intact.
But I mean, if you think about it, if they did destroy that, then where would the fun be? You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
I guess they're taking some liberties.
But part of the fun of Fallout 3, I gotta say, don't get me wrong here, I'm not dissatisfied with what I saw in Fallout 4, but part of the fun in Fallout 3 was seeing what these places would look like if they were actually basically destroyed,
Yeah, but it was almost like a cop-out, too. In a weird way. Like, certain things. Not everything, but...
How, Noah?
I'm trying to think of an example, and I can't think of one. So now my argument's left invalid. Never mind, shut up.
People in the comments talk about Noah.
He don't say no shit. Jesus Christ.
He said Dogmeat again.
Green what they're saying.
What were we talking about before that?
What I was going to originally bring up was that when you see the family dog walk into the room with the crib, on the floor is Your Special book from Fallout 3.
Yes, I did see that.
Which basically is Bethesda saying that this system is coming back. And furthermore, what supports this, but what further supports this for those who doubt it, and we'll get into this whole part in a second, is that in that garage screenshot, there's like this whole perk screen. And on the top is all the, like, it's each one. It's like the strength, perception, endurance, charisma, or whatever, it goes on like that along the top of all these perks. So it seems the special system is returning, which I think is good to see. And the reason I want to discuss this is because a lot of people thought that Bethesda was going to take Skyrim's leveling system and bring it into Fallout.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
No, yeah, that's what I was saying.
I'm sorry, this is someone that's played Skyrim for like 15 hours or so, almost 20 hours. Like, I don't know if it's the UI, but I hate that leveling up in Skyrim. I think it's really weird and hard to understand.
Forever.
Yeah. And there are so many attributes or traits, whatever you want to call them, and it gets overwhelming at stages.
It does, and like I said, it takes forever. So when you're level like 30, it's just like
I don't know. I love Skyrim personally. I got like all the achievements on it.
The leveling system was slow.
No, I agree.
The game.
It was designed to. What's weird though, is that a lot of people say it's kind of slow, but it was designed to give you like a sense of progression all the time. When you're using one armed, you're constantly getting that up. When you're using destruction, you're constantly getting that up, and then you finally level up and you spend a skill point and upgrade either your health, stamina, or magicka.
But I think there's no reason why. In fact, I think it's a bad idea to try and incorporate a totally different game, even though it's by the same developer, trying to incorporate that game's leveling system into a game that already has a pre-established system. It uses the special system. There are historical reasons for that. Why change that now?
Exactly. Separate the mechanics.
Yeah. Well, just some people thought that they were going to do that because it was, on paper, I can't lie, it sounded like a good idea. You start making like stim packs or some shit, you up your medicine skill or something like that. Some people thought it sounded cool, but I was always saying that, Fallout's been around for so long where like I don't think Bethesda would disrespect the series and the old school fans by changing that. And in fact, they're catering the old school fans more, I think, in this Fallout 4 trailer. When you look at, for example, the Vault jumpsuit is like skin tight like it was in Fallout 1 and 2.
That ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, even like the enemies, I feel they have like a more retro feel, or at least the Protectron.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
I'm literally looking at a wallpaper with the Protectron right now, and I agree. It's
favorite shot from the trailer.
I love that. Yeah.
That and Diamond City. Oh my god. Let's talk about Diamond City. That's like my favorite idea. It's inside Fenway fucking Park. That's so cool.
That is so cool.
Like that's such a first of all, I didn't expect it to be in the game. That kind of blew me away in a sense, because I thought to myself, oh, there's too much like copyright hurdles to get over. There's too much stuff and work by Bethesda to really get this in the game. Hurdles. That's what I'm saying, like getting the rights to using that area, and so I was thinking to myself that seems like it'd be a pain for Bethesda to get a professional baseball stadium in there and destroy it, turn it into a city. But they seemed all for it. But what was your favorite part about the city? I think mine personally was the slugger store, and you could see like the barbed wire. So cool.
Because I guarantee you that's like a weapons shop.
Yeah, I want to see what's in there.
Exactly.
Noah, anything else?
That was my thoughts on it. Just literally what Matt said, the slugger store and the weapons shops, the different like medicine shops that'll be around and stuff like that.
I like it because it just looks different to your typical to Megatron. Megaton. What the fuck? I'm thinking about
Megatron.
Megatron. Transformers. No, Megaton. Yeah, it could be. No, I think it looks very, very different to Megaton. They haven't tried to go on for this, typical post-apocalyptic look. It has some color. It has some liveliness in it. That's the thing I like about it.
What about you, Al?
I think my favorite thing is it looks all the shots, or at least the city shots. It looks alive. There's just so many NPCs, and it doesn't look, like, oh, there's one vendor over there and like two people stand. Like, it looks like an actual city, and it's vibrant, and just there's people doing their things, and it just looks very alive.
What's interesting is that there seems that there's going to be, multiple cities. I know in Fallout 3 there were technically multiple cities and towns, but like since in Fallout 4, Al brought up a good point that they look more civilized. You look at, like, for example, you take Diamond City, and then you take that part where you see the Brotherhood of Steel Trooper and the Vertibird flying up and like out of this city. Like like that's a whole different city. And then you see like another part of the city where the Massachusetts State House is. Like, you're just looking at all these parts, you're like, does this game have like a bunch of fully fledged cities? And like all these buildings are in there. Like it's really impressive what they're doing.
And I think they've looked at New Vegas and thought, all right, we had the Strip, this one area, and everywhere else is complete fucking desert wasteland.
I was gonna say, I think they've taken a lot from that.
Yeah. So let's have multiple strips, essentially.
No, that's honestly what I was thinking when I saw it, and that's kind of, I don't want to say that's what I want, but like, you know, that's a good idea. That's a good way of taking it. You know, is to take multiple lively sections of this game and you know, splotch them all over the wasteland.
Mm-hmm. I do feel that there are probably going to be a number of beauty shots where you get in a vertebrate or you get on the flying ship and we see these fantastic, you know, just shots and stuff. I think that's going to be a few of them.
I don't know why, when I saw that flying ship and in the scene where you could see the statue, now I'm not privy to what that statue is, but it just reminded me of Bioshock Infinite. I always raise this game, but I don't know why. You had the flying ship and that statue. It gave me that vibe almost instantly. I don't know why.
Apparently, according to some lore masters out there, that is the Brotherhood of Steel airship from Fallout Tactics.
The Constitution, is that what it's called?
No, that was the actual like boat that had rockets on it. I'm talking about like the airship that you were just talking about that was like flying over, and then like a bunch of vertebrates came out right after it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Apparently that airship belongs to the Brotherhood of Steel and is a big airship that's from Tactics, which I find interesting because I know it has nothing to do with the story, but you know, Tactics was semi-canon, so like it's interesting that they're actually taking something from from Fallout Tactics and not just going with the canon 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And can we just talk about how awesome it is to see that Brotherhood is still back? People are saying, I don't want them back. You know, we got enough Brotherhood of Steel.
Why would you not want them back?
Yeah, like, fuck you. I want more Brotherhood of Steel.
They were fucking amazing.
Yeah.
They were awesome, yeah.
What I find interesting particularly was that they actually ended up going with the canon endings for Fallout 3, because at the end of Broken Steel, if you didn't know, you could blow up the Citadel and just say goodbye Brotherhood of Steel. Apparently done. So it's interesting that whatever. I imagine if you're watching stuff on Fallout 4.
Yeah.
You get a pretty cool gun by doing that. Oh, that's all I'll say.
So I find it interesting that kind of proves that they went with the canon ending, especially when you see super mutants in the game. You know, it seems like definitely they did. I mean, I don't know how much Project Purity would affect the wasteland outside of Washington, D.C. Do you guys know much about that? Because I was talking to Vault of Daedalus about it, and he was saying he didn't think it really would affect Boston.
I think what it would do is just increase like water supply routes between or trade between these cities, and even though it's a long distance, word would spread eventually that you know, the original wasteland has water again, it's flowing thanks to Project Purity. Let's try and get some of that water over here, because who knows what water sources Boston have. Maybe they've duplicated the technology if that's possible and applied that into Boston.
I could see that, definitely.
I just got a question on Twitter, which kind of sparks a good conversation point. We saw Vault 111 in the trailer, and we saw the protagonist exiting it. Do we think that they're going to replicate kind of the beginning of Fallout 3, where you exit the vault and you enter the wasteland, you get that, wow, I can go anywhere moment? Do you think they're really going to clear cut, just copy it?
I hope to God they do.
I do too.
Yeah. And how cool is that vault as well? It's like in the ground, like it's not out of a stupid cave with a dumb fence. Like,
it comes up and out. Yeah.
So I don't know how much you guys have speculated. Do you know how you would get in that vault then? Is that an elevator?
I think it's an elevator.
Okay.
Or an elevator, yeah.
I think it's an elevator, because when you watch the trailer and his hands up, he's just raising, like he's gradually going up, and then you see it like going to third person, and he's still going up without walking. Yeah. So I'm gonna assume it's an elevator.
Because I was like, okay, that makes a ton more sense now that I. Okay.
No, I thought the same thing. When me and Vault were making our analysis of the trailer, we thought at first, we're like, is that a staircase that is there? You know, like, why is there 2 entrances to the vault now? Like, you have the normal vault door and then the elevator. Like, what is it specifically? While we're talking about this vault, though, that particular segment pointed out something quite interesting, and that was that Vault 4 probably, I'm not going to guarantee anything, but it seems very likely with that and like the family dog running out of the building without any loading screens, you know, and obviously in a trailer they're not going to show a fucking loading screen, but the way Bethesda edited it, where like, you know, you see him coming out in first person, and then they instantly switch to third person, no like jump cuts or anything to like speed up the process. He's still raising out of the vault into the wasteland without any particular loading screen. Do you guys think
Sorry. Do you think there's no loading screens?
Yeah, do you guys think there is?
There probably is. However, I have to go because I have work.
All right.
So I apologize, but
Are you making watches, Noah?
I am not making them. I'm selling them. So
that's different.
but, you guys, peace out.
Peace.
Love you, Noah. Take care.
Yes, I know. I love me too.
All right. So what do you think about the loading screens then?
I think that particular segment, it would have been, you reach the end of the trail leading up to Vault 111, underground or however it is, and then you would have reached the entrance or the entrance and said, all right, take me up now, and then there would be a loading screen, and then you'd be raised like that. So I still think there are loading screens. It wouldn't really make sense for them not to be. Like, the world has to be rendered somehow, and if they were to try and do that in real time, I think that would be an incredible feat, particularly given the size or the potential size of the Fallout 4 world. So,
what about you, Al?
Yeah, I'm gonna say there's most likely loading screens. Because was your example was at the vault or the family dog house?
Well, kind of both. Like, there's like multiple ones, and then like Todd Howard said in an interview that like with the extra memory they can like load areas before you get there, so you can just like walk inside, or you can hear stuff coming from the building, so it kind of brings the world to life, stuff like that. So that's kind of what like all led to people thinking like, well, I guess there's not loading screens then, probably.
All right. Well, I mean, it's possible. I'll say that much. Because I know in New Vegas they had certain houses that were open. You didn't have to go into the interior, but they were much more barren than what we see there.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to compare with The Witcher, I know we were talking about before, but like, I mean, The Witcher can, there aren't really any loading screens unless you go to like a different continent or something. Not a continent, but
no, that's what it is. I think scale is different.
And so like, I mean, if Witcher can do it, I mean, I'm sure the technology's there, so it's possible.
I totally agree. The only issue people brought up, which I didn't even consider, was that what about mods? If there's no loading screens for areas, how do you go from one area to another? I thought that it would just be kind of similar to The Witcher 3, where when you switch continents, there is that loading screen between. And I'm not saying that Fallout 4 doesn't have any loading screens whatsoever. You just hit continue and boom, you're in the game. I'm talking like you load the initial open world, that'll take like 30 seconds. But after that, there's really no loading screens unless you're like fast traveling or something like that, That's what I was thinking personally.
That'd be awesome.
It would be pretty cool, I'll admit.
Yeah, like for me personally, loading screens aren't a make or break deal for me, but I will admit that I've noticed as I've gotten more spoiled as a gamer that I kind of get taken out of the experience when there's 1,000,001 loading screens. Like, I used to be able to deal with it, but like now when there's like a loading screen for this, a loading screen for that, this and that, and I just get pissed, and like it just bothers me.
Well, we're talking about loading screens on New Vegas. Holy fuck. My game just got to the stage where loading screens went from 1 to 2 minutes. It was that bad. And some people are like, oh, it wasn't the same for me, and they're probably on PC, or, oh, it wasn't the same for me, it was on console. But it was for me, and it was for many people. So let's hope, at least on console, because let's not neglect the main,
the
like
main
most of the games are going to be sold. Yeah. So
I know I don't know if that has... I don't know, like the save games in the old Fallouts would sometimes get corrupted, so...
Oh, God, yeah.
That would hopefully...
That happened to me.
Yeah, it's no bueno.
No. That's so saddened.
If they fixed everything but that, I'd be like, oh, no.
Yeah, I just honestly hope that they let us continue our game after we beat it. Please, Bethesda. I know that you didn't make that mistake with Skyrim, but please don't do it with Fallout. Because they did it with Fallout 3, and they're like, oh, next Fallout game, they're not going to fuck that up. And in New Vegas, what do they fucking do? They fuck it up. So, like, it's better just to say something and be safe, rather than sit here in silence and assume that they're going to, do it.
Like, I could understand why they did that with Fallout 3, because when you have such a major plot point that comes to fruition with the Project Purity and all of that, it drastically changes the landscape of the wasteland. So no matter where you go now, it has to kind of incorporate what's happened with the water flowing. So I could understand why they wouldn't want to do that, because it would take a lot more time to set a wasteland that's changed after the events of the main narrative. You know what I mean? Like, it would be such a drastic change, especially if, for example, water is now flowing in the wasteland. So I could understand if they then didn't want to do it, but now with, Broken Seal, I believe it was, we kind of expect to have a wasteland that we can keep playing in once the main story is finished.
Yeah, I'm not saying cater the ending to that specific component. Like, if I die at the end for God knows what reason, then just, I mean, it's a video game. Just spawn me afterwards and say, thank you for playing. You know, like, so many games have done that. They leave a little message. Thank you for playing our game. You can now continue to explore and quest the wasteland as you see fit. You know, please enjoy.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
just do that. You know, don't sacrifice the story for this mechanic. Just let us play afterwards. You know, it's very easy to do it seamlessly without really having that. But, you know, if they have to, then by all means, you know, it's not a big deal.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a really good point.
So let's move on to another controversial topic. A voiced main character. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
I before, well, I don't want to say before, but I'm excited, so you go ahead. Sorry, I just like.
No, give us your reason.
Yeah, you're no offense, but you're the odd one out here, so I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so I think Matty doesn't like it. I'm indifferent. And that was the word I was trying to think of before, indifferent. And then you like it, Al. So how about you start?
I like it because I think it's the dog talking.
What? What?
Get out, Al. That's not.
I'm joking.
Oh my god, I took you seriously for a second. I'm like, what did he fucking smoke before he came on here?
You end the call and you're like, we're never having him back again. No, I'm gonna agree with Lone. I'm indifferent, I guess. Are you indifferent, Lone? You said you're indifferent?
I am indifferent because I trust what Bethesda is doing. They make great games. Let's trust what they're doing. Secondly, let's not say, oh, it's always been like that way for Fallout 3 and New Vegas in that we've had silent protagonists.
And 1
so
and 2.
Don't change that. And of course, and 1 and 2. But I think that's a very poor reason for saying let's not try something different. Because just because it's been that way in the past doesn't mean you can't improve and keep things fresh and innovative. That's what games have to do to be fresh in the minds of players, and I think a lot of games don't do that enough. But you know, it's something different, but I'm going to come into it with no preconceptions, no biases. Just take it for what it is. Trust what Bethesda is doing. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we've literally seen 1 second of this protagonist speaking. We have no idea what connotations that has for the game. So I'm not going to let it cloud my judgment.
But you kind of look back at, like, for example, what you said, where you're like, you know, nothing was put in here unintentionally, like with the guy standing next to the fence and then kind of copping out of nowhere, you know. This is clearly intentionally put in there to get people talking about it specifically because it's so different. So and on that note, it's not only is it just different, but it's literally the last thing that we see before they cut to the promotional material. They wanted that to be the lasting impression in the minds of the viewers. And of course it was intentional. They had to commission a voice actor, but it was intentional in the sense that was the bit right at the end. Let's go, pal. Yeah. And they cut out. So that's why everyone's talking about it. I feel like it was designed specifically to have like a thing that catches on. Like, that was kind of one of the things I was afraid with Fallout 4 was that, you know, during Fallout 3 in New Vegas, so many specific little things caught on, like, you know, Bush Lawyer saying, you gotta help me with my mom, you know, stuff like that. Like, all these little lines and stuff. Yeah, exactly. You know, stuff like that comes to mind when you think of Fallout 3. And, like, I was afraid that Fallout 4 wouldn't have that, but it would take a really long time for those type of things to catch on. And I think that's why it was put in there, to have something that could kind of catch on, that sticking catchphrase, because now so many people that like tweet at me, for example, will have their Twitter name is just like "Let's go, pal," and like people tweet pictures of him looking at the dog and it'll say in quotes like "Let's go, pal." Like it's a thing now, and I think that's partially why Bethesda put it in there. Now let's say it's in there because they want a fucking voice character. I'm going to kind of go along the lines of, I feel like it limits the personality, because what happens is that instead of reading and analyzing what my dialogue options are, selecting them, and then having the person respond to me, now I'm reading them, picking them, and then hearing how the character who I'm playing as is going to say it, because you know how they don't write down word for word what exactly you're going to say unless it's a silent protagonist. And so I pick that, then he says something kind of different from what it says on the thing, and then the person responds to me in an interesting way, and it's just like one of those things where I feel like it could cause too much issues. A lot of people, now I'm not personally one of those guys who like literally picks a role like this game playthrough, I'm going to be Big B Wolf or some shit, you know, like, you know, I'm not like that, but there are a lot of people, apparently Todd Allen included, who really get into the role playing for their characters and like base all their decisions off what this character would do and stuff. And, you know, I know that for a lot of players, they say that this would really having like a voice for their character kind of ruin what they, what it would be like for them, that initial experience. And I totally understand that, because when you're thinking you're playing as like a, some dark potential werewolf, and you hear like just a basic Troy Baker voice, let's go, pal, and it's like it kind of takes you out of what you're trying to play as in that playthrough.
And on that note, it's not even necessarily role-playing in general, but for example, when I played Fallout 3, it's like psychologically or subconsciously, I'm imprinting my own personality onto the main character as if I was stepping into his shoes. And, when you have a silent protagonist, it's so much easier to envision your voice coming out of the mouth of the player. So I definitely understand that argument, no doubt, but we don't actually know to what extent the player is going to be voiced. And a lot of people were saying that, it's just going to be in certain scenes. Well, that's assuming that Fallout 4 is going to have cutscenes now. And that's the only time that the protagonist is going to speak. So if that's not the case, when are going to be the right times for the protagonist to speak? Because it doesn't make sense for them to choose particular times. They have to go all out with it, or not have it at all and have it in cutscenes. But if they're not going to have cutscenes, then don't have it at all. So it's a really, really tough balance, I think they're going to have to make here. Al, what do you think?
I mean, like I said, I mean, either way, I mean, and I don't know if people have been saying like, it's just gonna be a guy. Like, they'll most likely do a guy and a girl voice if they are gonna be doing the voice character. It'll be more like Mass Effect. And I mean, I agree with Matty where the things, where you're like, oh, yes, I'd like an apple. And then you click on it, it's like, give me a damn apple. It's like, no, I didn't want that. And so, like, I can see where he's coming from. But, I mean, I'd be good for either. I mean, I think I would probably enjoy no voice actor, though, to be completely honest.
I mean, we'll go back to what me, Al, and Noah were talking about before this podcast. If they had, like, the list of voice options with, like, a pitch changer where I could personalize this voice to kind of tailor to the character, yeah, definitely. And if there's a silent option, then do that as well. If Bethesda had the options involved as well, that would be really cool, because then I'd actually probably willingly choose a voice there, because then I'd be choosing it catering to my character. Probably the first character I build is going to be based off myself, and I'm going to try to make him sound like myself and all that stuff. And, I think that would be pretty cool personally. But if it's like I don't want to say a forced thing. That's not the right word, because Bethesda's obviously choosing to break the norm for a reason. But if they're deciding to go with the voice specifically, I think I'm going to be less likely to enjoy that.
And I think that's really important, giving us a bunch of options. Like, let us choose how we want to play the game, because people are going to be more happy with having more options than having very, very limited options. So if they do have this voice protagonist, even though I think there are a lot of technical limitations with that, but that aside, if they were to say, all right, we have a voice protagonist, but if you want to play Fallout 4 as Fallout 3 was, then you can have a silenced protagonist. That's fine. And that would be really easy to do. Just cut the voice out altogether.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think people are very torn about it because it's just very different to what they're used to. It works in The Witcher, but I've also found myself in The Witcher thinking, hurry the fuck up. The dialogue takes so long.
I sometimes I read it and then I skip. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I'll read the subtitle and I'm already done before he's like a fucking quarter of the way through, and I'll just hit square and fucking skip it.
That's one thing though that I will say is a benefit with having a voiced protagonist. I find myself more often than not, when playing Fallout 3 or even playing Witcher with subtitles, I don't like that I'm looking at the subtitles.
Yeah, I like to look at the person. I thought I was the only one. Oh my god.
And the only way around that is just to shut subtitles off and listen to the voice, and you're looking at their face. It doesn't take you out of the immersion. It's not like, I'm playing a video game, I'm reading subtitles. I think that's dumb. I would like to just sit like a movie, for example, and just listen to their voice, listen to the dialogue. I think is important.
Yeah, I totally agree. And especially when going back to the silent protagonist, if he's silent, you're just hearing what they're saying. So when there's no subtitles and you're just listening to what the other person is saying, I think it's a little subliminal thing that you don't really notice, but that really clicks you into the game, because now you're just focusing on who's in front of you, not what you're picking, what you're saying, than what they're saying. It sounds like such a little thing, and I totally understand if that's what you're thinking. But I feel like that kind of goes a long way when you're quiet. You're just listening to what they have to say because you're reading what you have to say. I don't know if I'm making sense here or not, but
I'm thinking maybe if I were to do it, and like a boss told me you need to have a voice protagonist in this kind of world, I would think, all right, I'm not going to have him or her speak in actual lines of dialogue when you talk to someone and the face zooms in that kind of conversation, but maybe just generally in the wasteland, as you walk by people, your character says, hey. Your character says, how are you doing? That would be the only extent that I would do it as, but that also doesn't really make sense either. It's a very hard thing to implement, I think.
Okay. I mean, but you look at... Note, though, you go.
Sorry. I was just saying that Al mentioned the whole, is it going to be just a male or are there going to be female options as well? I did want to talk about that because that's interesting, but finish your note, Matty.
I was just going to say that I was looking at Pete Hines' Twitter when this game was just teased. There was no trailer yet. And, if we all know, we went to the source of the website and you could see little messages and stuff. And Bethesda knows how analytical this community is. Because, people were saying, I found remember if you guys looked at the source for the teaser website, it was PA service announcement or something like that, and the master brain is shut down, something along those lines. And, someone tweeted that at Pete Hines, and they're like, what does this mean? He's like, you think we didn't know that fans would come into the source code of our website? They know how much we're going to look into this stuff. So they know that when they put a voice at the end of this trailer, that fans are just going to get really thinking about it and be like, what does this mean? Is it to send a message? Is it to kind of put a slogan at the end of it all? Like a punchline? Like, what is it there for? And I think they're trying to leave lingering questions for the gameplay reveal at E3, perhaps.
And something very, very similar to that is the fact that they had a different breed of dog. Even though it was, German Shepherd and it wasn't Dogmeat, somebody tweeted out to Pete, hey, why no Dogmeat, or something along those lines. And Pete was like, well, we already kind of did that in Fallout 3. As in, I took that as they're trying new things. They're trying to freshen things up. And if that means having a voice protagonist, I think that's very, very likely, because they had that in the trailer. It was intentional, but just because of that, off of what Pete said, saying we want to try new things and not just have Dogmeat, I think this is one of those things that they want to try.
It's possible that with Fallout 1 and 2, obviously that helped establish how popular this series was, and then Fallout 3 really just took off because it kind of took what was special about the previous games, that grim but dark and somewhat also dark humor in a way kind of tone. And Bethesda just translated it perfectly. And I feel like with Fallout 4, they're taking their own taste, their own thoughts on this series, because they say, this is our series now. We're going to do what we want to do with it now. And so I feel like they're trying to shake off some of the former things that we're used to and maybe jumble them up a little bit, switch it up perhaps.
I think so, just because, they want to introduce new stuff. Because someone did mention, I don't know where it was, but this is the first one where Bethesda's kind of on their own. Fallout 3, they had to follow the lore a little bit. New Vegas, it was a offshoot, and they didn't develop. That was Obsidian. So now it's kind of in their reins, and it's their own thing. Also, if you go into Google and type in Dogmeat, just a warning. There's the first few images are Dogmeat, and then the second few images are also Dogmeat. You can figure out what I mean by that. But
no.
Just found out that
hard way.
Wait, is this Dogmeat as two separate words, or did you combine them?
I did one word.
Fuck me.
Yeah, just a heads up.
So let's call this dog something different then.
Happy dog that never dies.
Pal, the family dog. I that's what I stick with.
Oh, Pal, that's a good name. I actually like that.
Oh yeah, Pal.
I said that earlier.
Oh, did you?
I swear. We still have a lot to discuss.
Holy shit. Yeah. I'm getting comfortable. Don't worry.
So am I. All right. So next is the leaked Kotaku scripts. They're actually true now. Now, I know me and Lone have, but Al, have you actually ever taken a look at these leaked scripts? They don't have any spoilers or anything.
No. I don't know if I mentioned it since we were recording, but I've been keeping away from basically everything. But yeah, if there's no spoilers, then if you want to...
there's really not. It's well, first of all, it's a casting call, so that means that most of the stuff that's put on here is most likely not true. It's it's not in the actual game. It's just used for the audition of whoever's voice acting.
Okay.
But a lot of stuff leads to this being true, such as the picture of the protagonist is on the top of this script. And it's the same exact one who's in the trailer. So that instantly proves that this is real. That's just too convenient. Because this article, if you didn't know, came out 18 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff held up, such as you see the character speaking, like the player character, like that's something that Bethesda seems to be hammering home. Another thing that stuck out was that he mentioned in the prologue that he had a wife and an infant son. Another thing that held up. And then the second script was just like a piece of a side quest. It looked like, you had to get like a Tesla coil, and you may agree with the Commonwealth Minutemen, and you were like, I get to keep the Tesla coil and whatever I find here. So there was just stuff like that. But I just wanted to get thoughts on what you guys feel. I mean, I guess since Al hasn't read it, more so I'm talking to you, Lone, what you feel now that these scripts have kind of held up true.
Well, first of all, going back to the same discussion that we had, it goes to show that, yes, we're going to have a voice protagonist, and they're probably going to be speaking, in lines of dialogue. But also as well, I think that, I always thought that the leak was real. I know that some people had their doubts.
I did personally. I'll admit it.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know what exactly it would mean for Fallout 4, because as we said, it's a casting call. It's obviously not going to be a major plot point because they don't want their voice actors to know about that. So I'm not. It's
and
not
also not to interrupt you, but if they do get leaked like they did, then there's no major plot point spoiled. Continue.
Exactly right. No, exactly right. So I'm thinking, look, this was just done at a time to get some voice actors in. This is what we kind of think the plot is going to be. And also, let's be honest, if it was leaked 18 months ago, then it was probably written greater than 18 months ago. So they would not have the story, tight down at that point. So whatever they had, even if it was a side quest, I'm assuming we're not going to see anything like we saw in the script. The main things that we should take out of it are the fact that's the protagonist, that's his face, are the fact that we have voiced protagonist, and also the game is set in Boston. So yeah.
Now, perhaps based on the fact that most of the lines are for this protagonist, this kind of supports the whole fact that he will be voiced in the full game. He voices the intro, he voices in obviously dialogue and stuff. And so I feel like it's slowly but surely looking like we're actually going to have a fully voice acted character. I feel it'll be optional. I don't mean to kind of trek backwards and go into the previous discussion, but I feel like with all this stuff combined, it's just looking more and more like we're going to have that.
Yeah, I am looking at the documents now, and just with the script and everything, it seems fairly set in place. I mean, yeah, interesting.
And somebody tweeted out to Pete Hines, hey, is it Troy Baker that does the Let's Go pal? No, it's not Troy Baker. It's someone completely different. So I think it would be very unlikely that Bethesda would go out and work with a voice actor just for like 5 lines of dialogue or however many lines of dialogue they want for this character. If they're going to commission a voice actor, they're going to go all out, I think, in my opinion. But this kind of ties into the whole you can only play as a male rumor that went around. It would be interesting, especially after reading the scripts, how they would incorporate a female protagonist, because you're going to have both versions, you know what I mean? And that the female version is going to be voiced as well. So I wonder how that's going to go down.
You want to hear a crazy theory then? People are saying that the wife you see in the trailer is the female protagonist.
That's a really good idea. That's fucking brilliant. Because if the male is the... But if that's the case, then how are they still alive now? I don't know.
Unless it's like the ancestors or something. I don't know.
Ancestors. That's a really good thing.
That's
maybe
what
the
people are
baby...
saying, but like, why are they connected? Like,
maybe the baby is the Vault Dweller, or is that to like how?
No,
I originally thought the baby was the protagonist, but then I realized far too late in like the end of my analysis, 60 minutes late, that
timing.
That in fact this man looks like the person from the scripts, and he looks like the same guy in the beginning of the trailer that he does at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that was just me. I was looking so deep into everything else that I didn't think that holy crap, the guy in the beginning with the baby is the guy who's at the end roaming the wasteland.
Unless this vault maybe has cryogenic, freezing
it's gotta
things.
be. It's gotta be. That makes the most sense. It's just a matter of how in the trailer they show how they didn't get inside this vault.
You're right.
If you saw them getting inside, you assume to yourself, oh, they got inside, they barely made it, but they're alive now, and they're going to go into a cryogenic sleep. Because remember, each vault is an experiment. We know that, but for those out there who are listening, each vault has an experiment. And I feel like this specific experiment sounds very unique from anything we've heard before. There hasn't been a vault with a cryogenic sleep chamber. So it very well could be possible.
Do you reckon that the fact that the parents didn't get into the vault still meant that they got the baby in the vault just in time?
That's what I mean.
I was sorry. You want to go, Matt?
No. I was gonna say probably the same thing you did. That it's possible.
I was just thinking. I mean, if they implored, the realistic one would be like they implore one of the soldiers. The soldiers that's walking the gate, like take my baby, damn it. Or it'd probably be that. Or I mean, they chuck the baby down the elevator, but it would probably be giving it to a soldier.
Well, you're right, and we kind of saw that there was the Brotherhood of Steel Paladins and the officer standing at the fence, and someone was like, let me in, fuck's sake. So that could be a plot point that I could see pursued in there. But I'm just trying to think, whether if that was if the baby was there, would the baby still be alive? Like, how many years after the bombs is Fallout 4 taking place?
What's worth mentioning is that if this is the baby, this is one thing that totally just hit me, is that if this is the baby, how in the hell does he look identical to his dad? Like, identical.
Unless, all right,
unless he's a grown-up, he looks totally different. He's an android, and he was designed to look like his dad.
I mean, I know, usually looks jump one generation. So unless it's, all right, say they get the baby in there. They get the baby into the vault, and somehow his parents survive. It's a few generations later, and the vault dweller, who's now, a few generations down, he looks like his great-grandfather, and he hears, hey, my mom and dad's ancestors are out in their great-great-grandson is out there, and he's trying to reconnect with his family in the wasteland. But I mean, like I said, that is a huge stretch, and I'm just
that huge stretch leads to a good point of discussion I want to talk about. I was going to make a video about it, but I think it's a really good podcast discussion point, is that does Fallout 4 remind you too much, in a potentially bad way, of Fallout 3? You're chasing your family, it seems like, or it's got that family tie in there somewhere. It's clearly about a family. It's got the same, American, and I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. I fucking love it. But it's got that same, Americana theme where, you got all these American history landmarks. What else was there that really stuck out? Oh, yeah, you seem to start off in a vault. There's a lot of callbacks to Fallout 3 that seem to be almost eerily similar almost too similar. I'm not complaining. Fallout 3 was one of my favorite games of all time, number 2 on that list, for a reason. I fucking love it. And if Fallout 4 is that and better and different enough, then I feel like, that'll be good. But I want to know what your thoughts are. Is this too much? But then one other thing, is that if it is 10 years later from Fallout 3, like I kind of predicted, then that would kind of make sense why things are kind of similar, Not much has changed.
Well, I see Bethesda trying to... I talk about this balance, balance, keeping with what is the same so fans are treated again, and then trying to innovate and do something different. So I see having a voice protagonist being something different. This could be the whole, let's keep this bit the same so fans still feel comfortable and it still feels like Fallout 3, which is what they know and love. So I think that's probably the reason why they're going with a similar trope, but we don't know exactly what the narrative is. It could be along the same lines, but still vastly different. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I didn't get the overwhelming sense that, this feels like Fallout 3, in my opinion.
I mean, I like the whole family thing because it makes me feel personally tied to the characters in the story. That's why I like Fallout 3's story a lot, is because I was really invested in the characters there and always chasing Dad, wanting to know where he is. I don't think that story would have held up as well now as it did back then because, The Witcher 3 is totally guilty of that. Oh, you're just late, man. He was just here, but, you got to do me a favor, and then I'll get you some info. Trust me, bro. I got you. Just do this favor for me. And
get to Colin Moriarty. I know where your good old dad is. And fuck you, Colin. Tell me where my dad is. I ain't giving you money, prick.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where I really hope Fallout 4 doesn't do that because that's become my new thing. Not like the Aaron Boy thing. I don't mind doing favors and stuff, but if a entire story is based off of, I got what you need, do me this and I'll give it to you. It's one of those things where it's come on, just let me use my speech skill or something like that. Just give me the fucking option to avoid doing this guy a favor. Or if you're going to make me do a favor, have him come with me, not just have him send me off and be like, no, here's your money. Here's your information, dude.
True.
But regardless, I think it's a good thing that it's kind of similar in a way to Fallout 3, because I personally see the similarity right off the bat with the family, the exiting the vault and stuff. Obviously, it'll be vastly different when it comes to gameplay, setting, all that stuff, even exploration, if there's like no loading screens and stuff. It's going to be a very different game. But I like the similarities to Fallout 3. You know, there's a reason that was voted like one of the best Western RPGs of ever, like of all time. So,
plus, I mean, like we were talking about with this one looks like with all the, you know, the Protectron and all the enemies and just everything. I mean, if it is going to be more of a homage to the, or however you say that, homage to the original Fallout, then I mean, I guess they're sticking with what works in a way, possibly.
All right.
Yeah.
We have only a couple more things left to talk about. This one should be somewhat quick. Apparently, at some point, we haven't seen anything yet, but this happened the day that Fallout 4 was teased. Apparently, at some point, we're to get a second Fallout-related announcement called Fallout 4.1. And this came from a reputable journalist who goes by the name of Alana Pierce, and she was saying that I just got an email saying that, you know, Fallout 4.1 is coming, and, you know, it should be announced by the end of the week. Well, it's the end of the week, and we're recording this on a Saturday, so of course with our podcast luck, probably something will happen tomorrow on Sunday, today if you're listening to it, and we'll know what Fallout 4.1 is. But what's interesting is that I did see Devolver Digital tweet a picture of the Please Stand By photo, and it said,
oh, hey there.
Yeah, like, oh, hey there. I was like, are they going to do, like, Hotline Miami DLC where you just run around as the Vault Boy and, like, shoot people?
That's really good. But is that Fallout 4.1? Was that referring to the trailer leak? Or not leak, but the trailer reveal? Is that what Fallout 4.1 is?
It was before the trailer even happened, too. It was just called Fallout 4.1. And, like, people were openly talking about, like, the Alana girl was like, I'm allowed to talk about the email but not show you guys anything.
So let's say if the trailer was 4.1, are we saying there's going to be a 4.2 or something?
No, the trailer wasn't 4.1. The 4.1 is just a completely separate, like, full-on announcement, Fallout related.
So are we saying that that's coming at E3?
It's possible. It should be coming soon based off what she said, but, like, it seems like that has tapered off. Like, remember, Lone, she, like, deleted her tweets and stuff? I apologize for those listening if you're hearing Skype, or not Skype, but Steam IMs right now. I'm getting bombarded, but yeah, it shouldn't be too bad, but it came up 3 times, and I know I'm going to have that comment. Who else checked their Steam IMs when at
Maddie did the podcast?
So
yeah, no idea what that could be, to be honest.
Yeah, neither do I. It's really not, like, apparently it's like a little tiny announcement, but, like, still, I want to know what the fuck it is.
It just seems so odd. Oh, hey there. I mean, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what are they doing?
And that's why, like, I looked at that picture and it seemed, well, that's, like, obviously fake, right? I mean, it doesn't look like anything. It looks like someone just chucked the text, oh, hey there, and completely different font.
But also, the Indian head was gone, and it was like a chicken with, like, glasses on.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It was so weird.
I honestly have no idea. I guess we'll find out.
Final thing we have to discuss today, provided you guys don't have any other points of discussion, at least on my list here, is the garage. Remember the first ever piece of Fallout 4 art that leaked before Bethesda's website went live? It's like that thing where, like, the armor's hanging from the yellow thing. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there that says that this seems to be some type of customization hub. So we have the armor hanging from the yellow thing. I'm trying to describe what it's called. We're just going to say it's armor hanging there. There's a lever next to it which clearly shows that this is going to be lowered. There's a bed in there. There is a magazine/skill book stand. There is a workbench with a Pip-Boy on it. There is a laser rifle on a wall with multiple parts surrounding it, like the stock, like a barrel of some form. On the floor, there's a dismantled Mr. Handy. On the floor, there's also a dismantled minigun. And outside, leaning against the bench, is the customized rifle that the protagonist is holding in the trailer, thus hinting that that rifle came from this area. And so, with that all said, oh, and finally, there's that perk stand that I mentioned in the beginning, where, it's got, like, the special skills along the top, and then after that, it's got a list of skills. So, with all that said, do you guys feel like this is going to be a place that, you know, and also there's like Nuka-Cola decoration and stuff, but do you guys feel like this is going to be like a hub of some form, like a player home? It seems to have all the signs, but it clearly hints at some new mechanics Bethesda's going for. What specifically? I don't know, but
I definitely think it's a player home of sorts, and it goes to show that they're going to be taking weapon modification to another level. And I hope that they do that so we can really make truly unique guns and even customize armor. Let's bloody hope so, because that would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think what it could mean, and this is me being a bit out there, but maybe this is a home where it's not like the only home that you can have like in Megaton. It's a home where you can go set up things as you want and think, all right, now I want to change a pace, and go to a different building and make that your home and customize that how you want. That's my out there theory.
No, that's not a bad idea. What do you think, Al?
I agree with Lone. I feel like they're going to have a lot more maybe like random bases or little hideouts where you can, you know, hide things and, you know, just be like a little scavenger, put stuff. And maybe this will be one of the ones you find. And throughout the wasteland, there'll just be these little, you know, areas that, you know, be like, you know, you found a little hidey hole, and you can claim them and say, all right, I'm gonna build stuff here, and then we'll move. Or you could tell Family Dog, you know, like, go stay at our, you know, our current base, and he'll go there or something.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Either I had two ideas. It was either that what you just said, Al, or that. What happens is, like, you discover this area and you make it your player home, and like there'll be multiple player homes, but when you discover it, as you like roam the wasteland, you find these things that you can put in your house. Like, you find a workbench that you can take with you somehow. I don't ask me how, but like you find a workbench that you can take with you, for example, or you find this stand that you can take with you to store stuff in this house. So as you progress through the game, your house or your hub, whatever you want to call it, also develops. I feel like that's also a possibility, but like, what has me the most curious is the hanging armor. Like, because you see... Yeah, because you see... I didn't notice this until afterwards, but you see on the floor, like, the plate like that was taken off on the right leg, it's on the ground. As in, it's being worked on.
Plus, there is kind of a, like, exoskeleton look. Like, the left leg and the left arm, there's portions of the armor you can see through it.
Exactly.
So, like, yeah, if I didn't even think about that, but if there's customization of armor, that would be amazing.
Agreed.
And I've said this as a wish list thing way in the past. I kind of hope that we do get customizable armor, because in a wasteland, you don't expect to get a full suit of armor with every single piece of that armor, you know, in pristine condition or like all together. You expect to find different bits of armor around in the wasteland, maybe off dead people, and that have been looted already. So you have to make your own makeshift armor. That's what I think this could lead to, and I think it'll be really cool because every player is walking around with their own unique looking armor, and people post pictures saying, oh, this is my armor, this is my power armor. I think that's really cool.
I wholeheartedly agree with what you just said. And, you know, it's kind of what's interesting is, I don't know how much time you guys are putting in this game, but it's a callback to Morrowind in a very odd way, where Morrowind, you'd have like a left pauldron, a right pauldron, you'd have a left gauntlet, a right gauntlet, left plate leg, right plate, or actually no, I think it was all plate legs, but you get what I'm saying, where it was very specific parts to your armor, where you could have like a steel left pauldron and some type of elven right pauldron, and you just be decked out with whatever armor you could find, and it was really cool. And I'm thinking to myself that would work perfectly in Fallout, and this is an idea that a lot of people have spit out throughout, like, you know, I have like the Fallout 4 wishlist series, and like, you know, it's officially done now, but you know, this is an idea that people always wanted, was the ability to customize armor where you could like take off these parts. Now, what I want to focus on as well is that it's specifically showing the power armor. Are we going to be able to do this with everything? You know, when you think about it, he's editing this, or editing, for lack of better words, this power armor. You know, what other armor could you do this to other than power armor? I think of, you know, what other armor could you augment in this way?
Probably Talon Company, probably metal armor, leather armor, maybe.
You could put stuff over it, maybe?
Maybe. I think the most obvious armors are those metal ones which are connected by nuts and bolts, or however it's done.
I just have an idea. Thank you, Knights of the Old Republic. Oh my God,
Here we go. Whole podcast with that Star Wars.
Oh my God, it just hit me. All right, so in Knights of the Old Republic, there's a workbench, and you can like get certain rare armors that you can edit with these parts, such as like a microfiber cell or something like that, and you can put them in to give you like these bonus buffs or whatever you want to call them, like, you know, 10% protection against lasers or something like that. And I feel like that could kind of work in Fallout 4 in a way where, you know, you get like a special type of material or something that's more protective against like certain types of enemies and stuff. I feel like that could work. But yeah, sorry, I had to just interject my coder.
That's all right. But going back to the player home thing, just quickly, I was streaming the other day and I'm just thinking there are all of these random empty houses and some of them are boarded up. Why? What is stopping me from going to this house and claiming it for my own? What's stopping me from taking down those boards and those, you know, pieces of wood and saying I'm living here now? That should be possible, you know. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's just a small thing.
It takes a lot. Like, I think what putting boarded up buildings does in a way is like it feels like the world is full without Bethesda actually, you know, not to make them sound lazy, but they don't have to do much. You know, they just have boarded up houses, so there's like buildings, but you can't go in them because there's nothing there. You know what I'm saying? I think the reason why you can't is because of technology. I agree. I'd love to be able to go in every single building I see. I could see Bethesda being the developer to let you do that. You know, because a lot of people are saying, you know, they should have some type of minor destruction in Fallout 4 where you're able to, like, for example, take those boards off the wall and just like kick them down or shoot them with like a grenade launcher.
So cool! Yes.
Blow up the wall, walk inside, and be like, "All right, I'm barricading this place up. This is my house now."
Okay, that's a random thing. Sorry, I have to interject. Destructible environments. Are we getting that?
I mean, I would say if I would say, all right, there's a fiend compound, and then like Matty said, yeah, you could blow open the door. And you can destroy what emplacements they have there. I don't think it's going to be, you know, like whichever battlefield had, you know, you could blow up the building.
Resolution, and you fucking blow down an entire skyscraper.
Yeah. Like, oh god, the courier, the vault dweller is a madman. He's destroying the city. But yeah, I think it might be. That would be amazing if you could blow up like doors and stuff. And, like, oh, the door's locked. Oh, I'm gonna blow it up. Like,
oh fuck yeah,
yeah. I mean,
like if your explosive skill is high enough, you should be able to blow up a locked door.
That would be amazing. Exactly was another thing with the Fallout 4 wishlist is people were saying that, you know, I should be able to tackle certain areas based off how high my skill is. Where, you know, you guys put it perfectly. If my explosive skill is high enough, like I could blow up a fence to get into this area. Obviously, you know, the terminals and stuff are going to be in the game, and someone actually spotted one. It's actually right outside the entrance of Diamond City. There's a terminal in the back corner. I mean, I swear, people just see the fucking craziest shit. I don't know how, but like, you know, it looks the same. But obviously, what I'm saying is, like, obviously, your science skill is up. You can enter this area using your science skill, and that's what people want, is for like the gameplay to cater their skill choices more. Other than you have a locked safe on the floor, and you can either lock pick it or you can open it through the terminal, and you know. That type of stuff, you know, kind of became underwhelming at times. You know, it kind of felt pointless when not pointless, but like, you know, I didn't feel
repetitive.
Exactly, and I didn't feel like complied to invest my skills in those things. What I really want to talk about though in this picture is that damn perk stand. Can you guys just spit to me some logical idea what the fuck this thing is? Because I'm thinking to myself, like, you're allowed to level up on the go. There's no way Bethesda's getting rid of that. There's no way, you know, oh, you got 5 skill points to spend. Go back to your hub and fucking spend them. Like, no, fuck you, Bethesda. You're not going to do that.
No.
But what is it? There's, like, so many perks on this stand that you can look at. And, like, people are saying, like, maybe it'll show you what perks are currently active.
Are you talking about the magazine stack or the poster in the background?
It's like there's a magazine stack, and then to the right of it, if you look very closely, you can zoom in. And
it's like a poster.
It says like Vault Tech along the top, and
and that has all the Vault Dweller boy.
Yeah, it's got all the perk icons on there, and there's a ton of them. And I don't know if it's a poster, but it looks like some type of board that you can interact with. It kind of reminds me of like in the beginning of New Vegas, you had that that machine or whatever that you
Goobatron or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, that you could like put your special points into, and like
it was like the Jiggermatic or something. It was so Goobatron, yes. Well, what the heck was it?
I was about to say, you gotta look that up now. I need to know what this is.
Vitomatic,
the Goobatron.
Vitomatic vigor test. There we go. That thing looks like one of those machines where you hold it and then it electrocutes you, and it's like, see how long you can hold it. But
maybe this is a random theory. Maybe this is a board, like the Goobatron, let's call it. It's one that allows you to redistribute your skill points like you can in Borderlands.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it allows you to like remove perks and put them
like
on.
Start from the beginning. Like, oh, I want to try to be an unarmed player now.
You know, Lone, that's a fucking good idea because it seems like Bethesda with Skyrim was kind of hammering home the whole idea with their leveling system that you don't have to make like multiple characters to experience everything in this game. If you want to go from a two-handed warrior to a mage, you can. So what you're saying here actually totally makes sense. Obviously you're going to be very careful with your skill point investment when you level up, but with the perks that you pick, maybe you could take them back and invest them in different ones in some way. Like there's got to be some obviously cost to it of some form so that you can't just be like, oh, I don't like this perk, I'm going to go ahead and turn it in for another one. But that's a really fucking good idea. Holy crap.
Yeah, well, like the way Borderlands did it is, you built up your skill tree, and then you got to the stage where, well, I've kind of put a lot of my skills into support. I want to play a more attacking role. Or like it depends on what your character was. Yeah. So then you can go back to the machine. It would cost a fuck ton of money from memory, and then you could redistribute your skills as you will. And I think that's really good because I don't like it, for example, where I'm in Fallout 3 way, towards the end of the game, and I'm thinking, all right, I've built up certain skills. Fuck, my unarmed isn't that good. Oh, this is a cool unarmed weapon or whatever you want to call it that I could use. It's probably not effective. I won't use it. I don't like that. For example, if I haven't invested in energy weapons for whatever reason, and I find a really cool energy weapon, but it's not viable for me to use, I want to be like, no, now I'm going to change all my skills to energy. I want to start using these weapons. I think that should be possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I like that. I like that a lot now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of play styles that you could do, but then like Lone was saying, if you're like, all right, if I want to switch to, because I always do that. I always just put it into small guns, and then I find a rocket launcher. I'm like, well, I can't use this, so I sell it or something.
No, that's a really fucking good idea. I would not be surprised if they did something along those lines. Now that you bring that up. Because I'm looking at this thing. I literally, I made a video on it today, but, I was spending, a lot of time last night analyzing it, and, I had everything written out, and I'm looking at this perk stand, I'm like, what is this for? I'm trying to think, what could I say this could possibly be? What theory could I come up with? I can't think of a thing. That makes sense, though. But it definitely looks like some type of hub. You see the Nuka-Cola fridge outside. You put your drinks in there. You see the noise trap. You have a little tin can with little bottle caps hanging from it. Someone walks in, bumps into that, you hear them coming. Stuff like that. There's on the shelves in the back right corner, you see food neatly lined up. This is a place that's lived in, clearly.
Plus that laser rifle on the left, that has different rifle butts for the laser.
Exactly.
And that looks, that's going to be great if they do.
I don't know why this is just come into my head, but do you guys remember, I can't remember which Pokemon it was, that first allowed you to have bases? I thought that was the coolest fucking thing in the world, where you could put up your, you had secret bases where you could set up your own little home with plush dolls and toys and stuff. I think that's a really cool idea, and Fallout 3 didn't necessarily have that. You could have the Love Machine theme and the Vault Dweller theme, but you couldn't truly customize your home to look like the way you wanted. And I think that's why a lot of player homes came out on Nexus, because they were like, well, no, you don't necessarily just want that. Yeah, wow. I don't know. That's just my thought.
No, that's a good thought, because I never thought people had a problem with home themes. And to tell you the truth, guys, I've actually never seen one of these home themes. I only knew about
what?
I swear, I swear.
The Love Machine home theme, man. Now you can take girls back to the wasteland.
Yeah. How do you get that?
You go to
you bought them off Moira.
Yeah, Moira.
Oh, that explains why.
Hi there.
Oh, hi. I was gonna do
that. Wow. Oh my god.
So, did you get radiated for me? Fuck off, Moira.
Can you kill those mole rats for me? Oh, man.
I like her. I don't know. Everyone hates her. I like her.
I hate her so much. I actually despise Moira.
I like her a lot.
She's like, so go to Minefield and pick up a fucking mine, and then
oh my god, I remember that.
The sniper is trying to fucking shoot cars and explode me. Like fucking Moira.
Especially when you blow up Megaton and then she's a ghoul and she's like, what happened?
Oh my god, I forgot about that. She doesn't die. Like, the game knew she was annoying. I forgot about that.
Holy shit. Like, no, that's fucking awesome. If we're done with the topics, I want to quickly mention one thing that I alluded to before. The rumor that was going around that you can only play as a male protagonist.
Yeah.
First of all, that Reddit post is bullshit, but I just wanted to touch on this quickly. No, we are going to be able to play as male and female. I know in the Fallout 4 trailer it was just a male protagonist, but do you know what else also had just a male protagonist? The Fallout 3 E3 reveal also had a male protagonist, so that doesn't mean anything. We're in the 21st century, Bethesda's going to allow us to play as a female. I just want to say that in case anyone was wondering.
I know that in the Kotaku scripts as well, like not the scripts, but the article that Jason Schreier wrote, that he did say that like somehow it was confirmed that you would be able to have a male and female voice acted protagonist. So with that said, along with what Lone said, just pure logic, as well as the fact that, according to these scripts in some way or form, you're allowed to play as a female. I wouldn't see Bethesda just removing that option.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just kind of the times we live in now, where when people don't see a female in the game, they think like instantly. Well, in these creative character games, they think, oh my god, sexist. Yeah. What the fuck?
And it really does make sense. Well, it doesn't make sense not to have a female, particularly in a open world customizable game where you're creating this character. If you want to provide the player with more options, you want to be able to let them set genders. And
yeah, if you can customize armor but not your gender, then that's
that's a really good point. Like, Bethesda would be really slow to be like, all right, so we want to put in all this gun customizations, armor customization, but you can't choose what gender you are.
You can't be a lady. Sorry.
Yeah, so dumb. And also another thing, I have so many things swirling around in my head. The Fallout 4 trailer has confirmed one thing that I wanted, but we're not going to get now. You can't play as a ghoul. You can't play as a super mutant. And one reason for that, you start off in a vault. Yeah. You can't have a super mutant or a ghoul in a vault like that. It just won't work.
I always thought to myself, it would only work in very specific areas. I think ghouls would work. Certain areas are accepting the ghouls, don't care if you're a ghoul, and some people are just racist towards ghouls. But if you're a super mutant, you get shot on sight when you're in the fucking wasteland. You can't play as one, I think. There are certain towns like Jacobstown where they allow Nightkin and super mutants there that are nice. But that's the only one that really comes to mind. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But, I don't see it would work if they had customizable races. And I also think, personally, that would be that's a good choice on Bethesda's half, because that would be merging the Elder Scrolls and Fallout thing. Fallout needs to be separate from Elder Scrolls, and Elder Scrolls needs to be separate from Fallout. In Elder Scrolls, the first thing you do, pick your race. Yeah. And I feel like if you did that in Fallout 4, it would just be like kind of like an Elder Scrolls thing. You don't want that Oblivion with guns thing, and now Skyrim with guns. We don't want that.
It sounds cool in theory, but trying to put it into practice is very difficult. And I would prefer starting off in a vault and having that, you're emerging from the wasteland, to the wasteland rather. I think that's much more cooler than being able to choose races. Because to be honest, if there was a choice between human, ghoul, super mutant, whatever, I'd play as a human. I would.
What do you think?
Yeah, same here.
What do you guys think just because I was thinking about the protagonist and stuff, what do you think is going to be his, name? How, we had the Courier, Lone Wanderer. What is he? Let's say, okay, hypothetically, he's an android, or he woke up in cryogenic sleep. What do you want to call him?
I mean, if we're doing cryogenic sleep, they'd probably be like, oh, you're a Pearson, or whatever, the last name is. Oh, your family did so much for the wasteland, Mr. Pearson, or something like that.
Yeah, I see that. It's a really tough call. I have no idea, because, New Vegas, it was the courier because you started off as a courier, but this seems like you're starting off, you don't have this pre-established backstory. You're starting off in a vault in the true sense, like in Fallout 3. Yeah, you have a dad that you're trying to find, but you don't have this whole entire backstory like in New Vegas with the courier that you found out about in the Lonesome Road DLC with Ulysses. So true. I have no idea. I actually have no idea. It's tough.
I don't think they would do Vault Dweller again, since it's just all right.
Definitely not.
The Lone Vault Wanderer.
I've made that mistake like 4 times in my videos alone. Like, Vault sent me a message on my Twitter. He was like, he's like, you notice what you did in one of your videos? I'm like, what? He's like, you called the Lone Wanderer the Lone Vault Wanderer. I'm like, fuck. Fuck.
That's great.
It's happening. I'm taking over Fallout.
No, but I swear, like, it's such an easy mistake for me to make now, because I always say, because it rolls off just as smooth as Lone Wanderer.
It does.
You know, Lone Vault Wanderer, and it makes sense. Like, you're going through all these vaults in the wasteland, so I'm like, I just say it naturally now. But like, I have to make sure now when I say Lone Wanderer that's exactly what it is, not Lone Vault, because then they're gonna be like, what the fuck's a YouTuber have to do with this damn trailer?
That's awesome. They're working with Bethesda. They're in the game.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Oh, that's another thing. Can we be mentioned in the game in some sort? Just reference.
I really hope so. I'm not one to say, like, you know, oh, I deserve this and that. You know, I'm so fucking righteous and entitled. But honestly, like, it'd be really cool if Bethesda gave a nod to, like, us YouTubers for, like, constantly making these Fallout videos.
Yes.
Cause,
have
like,
a small town called YouTube or something like that, and then you have Mr. Matty, Lone Vault, Al. Like that would be cool.
Like, they make us like the biggest losers for
Yes.
And it's like kill the YouTuber town. And it's like what?
No, that would honestly be great. I would totally come in and voice act that and just get really
cool.
Be like the what is it? The Empire of Dave or the Dave Town in
Oh yeah.
Dave.
Oh god.
Or like have us like a bunch of Garys in that town, and when people walk, we're like Fallout 4.
Or just make us a really hidden Easter egg. That would be beautiful. Just like hidden in like in a fucking cave that you can only, you know, like that. I brought this up a couple of episodes ago, but that cave in Fallout 3, which you can like only see at night. It's an unmarked location, and it's like a little rock that you have to interact with to get inside. Like that. Just put us inside there, and then you walk inside. We're all like Fallout 4.
We've been trapped.
Yes.
We're all ghouls. We've been trapped, waiting for it.
Yes.
We're in a prison, and we're like, is Fallout 4 revealed yet? That would
It
be
just
awesome.
says like Matty, Al, like Lone, and Gopher, like.
That'd be great. Oh my god.
Like Noah's got a muzzle on him because he interrupts everyone.
That's one of the quests. It's like a muzzle, but it's also one of the slave collars, so that's why you can't take it off. And that's a quest. Like get the muzzle off of him, the slave collar.
We're all housed in an ark of some sort.
We have like a shrine to the the vault dweller, and he comes, and we're like, oh yes.
It'd be so fucking good.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not saying we deserve it, but like whenever someone tweets at us saying that, like I'm just like, Bethesda, please, come on, just do it. I would love.
I kind of hope that they tweet Pete Hines in that tweet. So you're like, see this, Pete? You know, please put that in.
Like, I just want to respond and be like, I'd be down for that, but I'm like, obviously, I'd be fucking down for that. Is that even a question? Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. So we're at an hour and 48 minutes. I want to go to 2 hours. 2 hours is a nice number. Let's have numbers.
Well,
So-
here's, wait, real quick. I found this. This is a very sarcasm, very revealing image to support my dog talking hypothesis. I've put that in the Skype chat.
What's going on?
In the Skype chat, there's a very revealing image I found. May or may not have made.
did you just make that now?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god. You gotta post that on Twitter.
That's on Twitter. Fucking hours making photos. I'm just looking at my wallpaper.
No, I'm not on Twitter right now. I'm just saying that you should put that on Twitter. I just like, that's what I do now on my Twitter. I just post Fallout 4 pictures now. Just like anything. Like I posted like the Boston one. I posted like the map photo. What else did I post? Let's see here. Yeah, like the it's like Fallout 3 talking to Half-Life 2. He's like, hey, I just got my sequel. He's like, hey, I'm getting mine next. Hey, I doubt it. Like from SpongeBob. Like, it's so great.
Have you seen the most recent picture that I posted? It's just the ass of the Vault Dweller, and everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my god, that's excellent. Any more ideas, guys? I'm pumped for Fallout 4. Fuck's sake.
I am so happy it's finally here. Yeah, like that's. Do we have any discussion points here? Like, you know, I'm just kind of like, what I was kind of doing was just going through my videos and trying to like tie topics together. We talked about the graphics, talked about the second announcement, talked about the engine, the leaked scripts, protagonist.
Do you know what we talk about?
Androids.
We didn't talk about the story and being able to see pre-war. We didn't really flesh that out a bit, did we?
Yeah, we just talked about how it'd be cool to have nice mods in pre-war. All right, so
that's really interesting because this is something that Fallout fans have been fucking clamoring for. We want to see what happened before the bombs fell, and we're actually going to get that. That's awesome.
I always wondered how that would work too with the... I have to keep looping around to the same thing, but the cryogenic sleep kind of helps make that possible because like everyone's always like, I don't know how, but I want a game where in the prologue we experience, like, we're just walking around having a normal day and like we experience the bombs dropping, like being a part of the siren and like hearing the call over the radio that you have to get to your nearby vault,
which would be horrifying. And if we do play through that, that's going to be like one of the most memorable moments of the game.
Done right, it will be. And then obviously, based off the Vault 111 thing where you see him raising out of the vault and then you just see the wasteland in front of you, like that'll be the like best hour of gaming since Fallout 3.
I mean, plus like I don't know, this is just a random thought, but if that's how the game started and you're running to the vault, that would be an intense.
Also, something that has just popped in my head. What if Vault 111 was one of those fucked up vaults where things went horribly wrong, and we experienced that in real time?
That would be cool, because usually you come into the after effects, and you learn about the vault through terminals and stuff. That'd be really cool to actually be a part of what the fuck goes wrong. Like in Fallout 3, it was kind of... I'm not shaming it at all, but it was kind of basic, Overseer gets, power hungry... kind of it, Dad escapes it, and that causes this big conundrum, and you really see the effects of that when you do the back on the home front quest. You really see what actually happened after that, which was really cool. But being truly a part of this chaos in a way, I think would be cool, where it's just like Lone said, really fucked up.
And I think that is something that it's not like, as you said, Matty, we're walking into this random vault. This is what happened. Let's read some terminals. Let's see what's messed up. We found some insane survivors. But I think it's so much more effective, instead of being told what happened, being shown what happened. That would be awesome. And if it's like a fucked up vault where, like, for example, there was a vault where it was just one man and he was given like a box of puppets or something like that. That's fucking dark, man. Like, imagine spending your entire life just in the solitary vault, which is huge, and it's just you in a box of puppets. That crazy.
Wasn't there a vault where there was like I think it was in New Vegas, and there was like 5 people left, and like they were all standing at the exit of the vault, and they were deciding whether or not they should go. And just at the end of it all, they finally, this vault went to shit. Everyone died except for these 5 people. And, like, they were all about to say, let's just stay here. And then, like, the guy shot all the other people and then just left the vault.
I think it was, it was 5 survivors. And they were like, the one guy's like, do we have to do this? We could just go. We could go. And I think they all killed themselves. It was like 5 people. There were 4 gunshots. And then the other guy, he didn't kill himself. He just ran away.
Yes, that's, I think, what it was. And that's dark, and you found that out through an audio log, I think.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome.
Holy shit. That is... And what is another interesting one? There were like 2 vaults. One of them had 1 man and 1,000 women, and then the other had 1 woman and 1,000 men. It's just fucked up. I want to see those stories fleshed out a little bit more. I think that's so interesting.
I think it's what they got to do is, instead of having us, and I mean, I know part of the game, the video game is using your imagination, but instead of having us read it, let us hear it. There are more audio logs, because that's why, like, for example, what's the really scary area in Fallout 3? But that's why that was so effective, is because you were hearing how this person gradually turned into a ghoul.
At the Dunwich building.
That's what it was. Yeah, that type of stuff. Maybe somehow videos on security cameras in the vault. You could see these people going insane before the crisis, stuff like that. I think that'd be cool.
Those videos sped up a little bit. So, like you go to this terminal and you see this video file, you click on it, and then it's just a sped up version of the camera, and you just watch as the vault develops into madness, essentially. That's man. 4 yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys get the same thing, but when I'm looking at security cameras in games, like to like see what happened, I get this sense of anxiety, because you're like so engrossed in what's happening in front of you, and I always get so afraid that you stand up from the terminal, you turn around, and there's just gonna be someone standing there.
Yes.
Like, and they'll be like, "What are you doing here?" And I'd be like, "Oh."
That reminds me of a scene from Bioshock 1 where you go to the wall and there's like a med kit on the wall, and then you turn around and there's this guy just standing behind you, and you just get freaked out. And then they had a similar thing in Infinite, I believe.
With the loud horn guy, and you turn around and
that scared the shit out of me, man.
I turned around, it was like 3 a.m. I was about to beat the game, and that happened. I was like, ah! I was like, holy fuck!
Oh my god. Jeez. I'm so excited now. What the fuck? I'm so excited.
Dude, honestly, like, all right, this is a good discussion point to, I don't want to say wrap things up, but like a good leadway point. Since this game's been announced, have not been able to focus on any other game. Like, I've been trying to play The Witcher, kind of lost interest in it, really. Like, it's a really good game. I love it. I'm going to beat it. I don't like the main story that much, but like, you know, like, I just can't stop thinking about Fallout 4. And, like, I can't stop thinking about that gameplay reveal. And, like, I was originally so stoked for Batman. Like, I couldn't wait for it. I was counting down the days, man. I'm a big Batman fan. You know, obviously, like, most people love the games, play them all. And, like, now I'm just, like, I mean, I'm going to play it, but, like, I'm more focused because everything's just going to be biting me over until Fallout 4. You know, it's like, I am never in my life, I'm saying this straight up, I'm not like Mr. Hypebeast, but, like, I've never in my life been more excited for a video game than I am right now.
Neither. I mean, this is the first game in my experience where I've played it before and then really analyzed the news, and obviously that has to do with having a YouTube channel centered around that, but analyzing the news, like just continuously seeing how the community has developed and gradually become more excited, how they can deconstruct news to the nth degree. It's incredible, the things that have been pointed out in this trailer that no one looking on their own would have seen, but when you have a million eyes which are so critical and so comprehensive, it's just an amazing thing to see, and I think that's why it's adding to the excitement, I believe.
I agree. Yeah, we're all part of this very special community, and it really is something special, if you ask me. I mean, you know, obviously when things are good in this community, you know, everyone's really positive, always like, hey, good job on the video, you know, and they're always saying nice stuff, but I mean, it's unreal, just the positive output since this reveal. Like, it's almost like a big weight has been lifted off of everyone's shoulders, like, okay, Fallout 4 is happening. Yeah. And it was like, you know, it was the big reveal, like, it was awesome, and you know, there's just going to be... Okay, here's a good thing I want to talk about. When we're at E3, I know this may seem like a simple question, okay? But what exactly do you think we're going to see? We're going to see gameplay, no doubt. We're going to see a reveal. Are we seeing, like, the kind of Fallout 3 E3 gameplay trailer where we see the game in action, you know, we see the VATS and everything, we see these mechanics? Or are we going to actually see Todd Howard narrate us through, like, 20 minutes of gameplay? I can't tell to this day. I think I'm gonna keep my hopes down a little bit lower, in a way, because I feel like we're gonna just get a similar trailer to what we got for Fallout 4's official reveal, but with gameplay.
I mean, I think it's gonna be gameplay. It'll probably take place, if you know, just guessing, I would say some place that doesn't give too many story indicators out. Maybe we'll be fighting ghouls, like in that, or whatever those things are. Maybe we'll just, you know, a nondescript enemy. We'll either be fighting robots or ghouls or creatures in a building. Maybe he'll go over some of the stuff like the lock picking, like can you blow up doors? And they're gonna, if they do gameplay, there's no way they're not gonna show VATS. So yeah, definitely VATS. So that's what I'm saying.
I feel like just based off the, you know, you look at the garage, you look at, like, there's just so much to talk about, like, will there be androids, you know, no more loading screens. I feel like there's so much questions that have answered that I feel like they're going to have Todd Howard sitting up there, and as he walks through, he goes, and now here, we're going to enter through this door. You can lockpick this door, or you can blow it up, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Or even, like, for example, you can VATS this enemy, or we've listened to the community and incorporated bullet time. Like, I could see them going and trying to include all of these great mods that have been developed, and then like, saying, hey, as a call out to the community, this is what we've done.
I mean, I always, whenever people ask, like, what do you want for Fallout 4? I always give, like, these, like, things that people, you know, you wouldn't, I'd be like a sprint button, or like maybe a melee button or a grenade button. I mean, I'm pretty sure they would maybe do a sprint. I would imagine, right?
Yeah, it's after Skyrim, I'd imagine they're definitely
you're right. Yeah, they're doing sprint. That's right. I always forget about Skyrim.
I put so much time into Skyrim, like I must admit, like, based off, like, the launch period, like, I didn't even play Fallout 3 when it first launched until, like, 2010 is when I really got into Fallout, but, like, with Skyrim, I was playing that since launch, and, like, I played the fuck out of that on console. Oh my god. Like, I played that game so much. Like, I don't think I touched another game until, like, March of the next year. Like, it was crazy.
Hey, Matty, are you going to get a better PC for Fallout 4? That's a good question.
That's a really good question. I really want to see, you know, they have it listed for pre-order, so I'm going to assume that when this game is shown, like, you know, the gameplay and everything, that they're going to reveal the PC specs. If my rig can't handle it, I will upgrade for this game specifically, no doubt. Because I do want to, you know, part of that, you know, also for my channel, you know, I'm going to play, obviously, the original vanilla game and make videos for that. But then after that, there's going to be mods, and I'm going to want to be a part of that. I'm going to be wanting to do kind of what Al does, you know, mod playthroughs and all the reviews and shit, kind of like go for as well. You know, that stuff is awesome, and I never got a chance to be a part of that in 3 in New Vegas. And, you know, I feel like Fallout 4 is a good starting point, so I want to be a part of that as well. So, yeah, I'm definitely upgrading my rig for this game if need be.
And see, that's interesting because I know we've said in the past that, Bethesda's not going to be releasing their modding toolkit several months after, but they haven't done that with Witcher, and we've seen mods for The Witcher 3 already on the Nexus site. So I think straight away we're going to be getting mods for Fallout 4, but I don't think I want to wait until I complete a substantial part of the game before I mod anything.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see what Bethesda has provided to us.
I only mod the game when I feel I need something new. Like, I'll you know, I've played Fallout 3 more times than I can count. So, you know, obviously I'm going to want to mod that game. But with Fallout 4, it's not even going to be like, oh, one playthrough and I'm going to go mod this game. Like, I'm going to do another playthrough being evil, you know, and then, like, do that exploration playthrough where you just go everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be so much to do. It's like, I want to get as much as I can out of this game. You know, obviously achievement hunting as well. Stuff along those lines where, you know, I want to have to get my full amount out of this before I feel like, okay, I need the community to give me more stuff to do.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm really hoping we can get review copies because I want to play the game before I make videos. I want to enjoy it as a fan before having to...
Also, because Twitter will be spoiler loaded in our mentions.
Oh, God, yes.
Like, I'll have to stay away from that. But if I have it early, I'll at least have the jump on people where, like, I won't have to rush through the game so that, you know, I don't go on Twitter and, hey, Matty, did you see in this part a quarter of the way through when this happened? And I'm like, oh, fuck you.
Like, the dog died. Like, no, don't tell me that. And we've been talking about this before. I want to know how you feel, Al. What are you going to do? Because I want to enjoy the game as a fan, and I don't want to stream the game. A lot of people will do that, and they'll capitalize on the hype, but I think it's more important for me to sit down, relax.
Enjoy it.
I don't know.
I think, because people always ask me that, and I really want to just enjoy it, because every other Fallout, you know, the games had been out before I started my channel, I think, or I don't know when New Vegas came out, but my channel wasn't big at all, so I was like fine to play through it. But I'll either, because I want to take my time, so I might stream. Maybe I'll stream like 2 hours of me doing the beginning, and then I'll be like, all right, guys, I'm just gonna play it on my own. Maybe I'll record it, but I won't be doing my voices. I'll just enjoy it, and then maybe I'll release it. I mean, of course, there might be copyright issues because I won't be talking, and it'll be more, you know, story
and game stuff.
Exactly. So it's I mean, like Matty said, if we get the early versions, that'd be amazing. But
that's
I'm trying to work on it.
That'd be. I mean, if you guys have any leads, let me know.
Yeah, I was about to say
that'd be great. We could all do that.
I even said, because like I'm trying to get into just contact with Bethesda, establish some type of connection with them. Like I emailed them just thanking them for a proper, like, you know, reveal of this game, and just saying that you guys have given me something special with my channel, and it's because of your games that I have something. And I was sending them a thank you. And, like, I didn't hear anything back from them. And I'm not saying I deserve it. You know, if they read it, that's good enough for me. But, you know, it's one of those things where I'm trying to establish some type of relationship with them, and they make it really, really difficult. I can't lie.
Well, I'll talk to you guys after the podcast.
Okay. I know partially about that.
I do know one other person who did get into contact was Nuka Break. Because they had to get like permission. So if you guys want to make a live action just so we can get into contact with them, just for that sole purpose.
Al, dude, I think we're in the same state, dude. We can do this.
Let's do it.
We'll make a movie. Hell yeah!
That's so cool.
That'd be awesome.
Holy shit!
Well, 2 hours plus of Fallout 4 discussions. I think we've had our fill today.
On my official Audacity thing, I have 1 hour and 58 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so we made it here. We made it. Al, thank you for obviously joining us again.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I have a great time whenever I come on, so much appreciated.
Of course, you'll be back again. That's no question now.
You'll be back when we get gameplay at E3, right?
You're coming back next week, man.
Yes. I mean, what's next week? It's my sister's birthday. I'm missing my sister's birthday.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I understand. She'll understand.
Yeah, so the countdown begins. We're 1 week away from Bethesda's official first E3 conference. I'm fucking stoked. Before we go, though, I gotta just do this. Everyone put out one prediction that you think is going to happen at this conference. Just a bold prediction. I don't mean to put you guys on the spot, but here, I'll go first. Dishonored 2 will have a big-ass gameplay reveal. That's my bold prediction. We're going to see Dishonored 2. I know it's totally off the walls. We've been talking about Fallout this entire time, but that's my bold prediction.
I think we'll get a full trailer for Doom.
That's bold, man. I didn't see that coming.
Call of Duty Black Ops 3 will feature an Arnold Schwarzenegger cameo.
Yes.
I have no idea.
My other bold prediction is that Battlecry will have a beta immediately after the fucking conference, kind of like every game developer seems to do now. And if you sign up now, the beta is live. You can play the game right now. And,
oh my god. Yeah. Go home and play it today.
I'm going to go play Battlecry, guys. Goodbye.
Excellent. So are we letting Al end the podcast?
Yes. Al, we have a new tradition, and it's we let our guests end the podcast. And I always forget. Thank God Lone's here, because I always forget.
Yeah.
So go on, Al. You close this bad boy out.
We're literally going to cut it off as soon as you finish what you have to say. So pressure's on.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, everyone, for watching H.A.M Radio Podcast. Hope you all enjoyed. I had a great time. Hope everyone who watched did as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the future. Away!